If the grocery stores ever go bare because of some SHTF grid down scenario, do you plan on supplementing or feeding yourself by gardening? If so, this video is going to hopefully give you some tips and tricks to keep you from starving to death after SHTF, and to keep you from looking like this, and to keep you fed and healthy right after the channel intro. Drop the weapon or I'll shoot! Drop the weapon! Now we're going to get into those tips in just a second, but the first thing I wanted to do was to welcome you to today's video in this 30 days of preparedness video collaboration that I am taking part of. Since September is National Preparedness Month, there are several different YouTube prepping channels that are taking part of this collaboration, and I will put a link to that playlist down below. But in that collaboration, we are releasing one video every day that has to do with preparedness throughout the whole month of September, and again I will put a link to that playlist down below. Hey, and also really quick, if this is your first time here on this channel, welcome to my channel called Ethical Preparedness. I am a long-term hardcore prepper, plus I am also a 20-year police veteran, where things that I saw on the job and also things that I saw within the government made me realize just how important prepping is. So if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button and let's get on with this video. So what you're seeing here on the screen now is part of the stockpile food that I have put back, which is enough to feed my family for a little bit over a year, but feed each person for about 3,000 calories a day, again per person, for a whole year. But if things get bad enough, then eventually this food will run out, and eventually myself and any other preppers that have food stockpiled back will have to start relying on food that we can grow. You know, I just gotta say this really fast. It is freaking hot out here today. It is hotter than a meth pipe on payday. Now, if you're like me, you already realize just how important it is for preppers to be able to garden and grow their own food. And what you're looking at here is my white potato bed, which I really need to go ahead and cut these vines or cut the stalks back and and get ready to harvest these. But anyways, again, if you are like me, you already know how important it is for preppers to be able to grow their own food. Because like I said a second ago, eventually your stockpile food will run out and you will have to rely on the food that you can grow. But the one thing I really want you to consider and to think about is that your food that you grow doesn't have to be for only after your stockpiled food runs out. Actually, what you want is that this food that you grow, for it to actually do a couple of different things for you after SHTF, after the grid goes down. First, it will help extend your stockpiled food. For example, if you grow white potatoes and you have a lot of cans of beef stew in your food stockpiles, you can add those cooked potatoes that you grow to that beef stew to make it to double how far that can of beef stew will take you and your family. And then the food that you grow can add extra nutrients and flavor to the food that you already have stockpiled. For instance, these herbs that me and my wife grow, cooked together and mixed together with the tomatoes that we also grow, will make an awesome pasta sauce. We've already done it, that will go excellent with the pasta that we already have stockpiled in our long-term food storage. And then not only will that pasta help fill our stomachs after SHTF, but the herbs that are in there will also give us badly needed nutrients and vitamins that our bodies will almost for certain sorely be needing, again in a grid down scenario. And did I mention that it's freaking hot outside? I am sweating like a politician in a lie detector convention. But anyways, let's get back into the problem that I have ran into. And then if you are a prepper that is practicing gardening yourself, then I'm sure that you have ran into this problem also. But that problem is being where you just cannot get certain kinds of vegetables to grow. Maybe you have tried year after year to get white potatoes to grow, and just year after year you fail miserably at them. I mean, for me, every year, year after year, I would try to grow potatoes and carrots, and year after year I would fail miserably at growing white potatoes and growing carrots. And for me, potatoes and carrots are some of the most important vegetables. For me, they're some of the most important vegetables that preppers can learn how to grow and successfully grow them, because for me, again, for me, those are two vegetables that have a lot of different uses, and they also help fill your stomach and provide you with a lot of good calories. But what would happen with me is year after year I would try to grow russet potatoes, and I would just end up with these little small puny little white potatoes, and only like 2 or 3 of them per plant. Definitely nothing that could ever feed you. And then year after year I would try to grow carrots, and again the same thing with carrots. I'd end up with these puny little carrots that again would not feed me or my family for nothing if it came down to it. And it always just drove me nuts, because while I could grow a lot of other things, I just struggled at potatoes and carrots, which was for me 2 extremely important vegetables to be able to grow after SHTF. So now I have pretty much fixed my problem. What I started doing the last couple of years is I started trying to grow different varieties of those types of vegetables that I was failing at. So instead of trying to grow russet potatoes or Yukon potatoes that I failed at year after year, I tried growing Kennebec potatoes for the first time, and guess what? I had a pretty successful harvest with them last year. And it looks like I'm going to have a pretty successful harvest with them again this year with the seed potatoes I saved from my harvest last year. And then also, instead of trying to grow those same type of carrots that I failed at year after year, and I don't even remember the name type of those types of carrots that I failed at every year, but this year I tried growing Denver heirloom carrots, and guess what? Again, I had a good harvest with those Denver carrots. The one thing that I suddenly remembered is that different vegetables do better in different zones and different climates and different soil types. And I thought, well, maybe these russets that I'm failing at every year just don't like my zone, or maybe they just don't like my soil. So if you have been failing at certain types of vegetables that you've been trying to grow, then try a different variety of that same type of vegetable that you've been failing at. So like with me, I was failing with russet potatoes, so I tried Kennebec potatoes and started getting really awesome harvests after that. And hey, as far as trying something different and or expanding your horizons, this is something that I recently discovered, and these are called ground cherries, and that's because you actually let these little things fall onto the ground before you harvest them. But these little things taste like a cross between a cherry tomato and an actual cherry. They're very sweet. They taste very good. Man, that is really good. These things produce a lot of fruit, and they seem to be disease and pest resistant. So this is definitely something I'm going to be introducing to my bug out location. Letting them really starting to grow wild down there. Man, I gotta have me another one of these. Man, that's good. A little bit of a pineapple taste on that one. And I also have to say this, since almost everything that I grow is heirloom, that means that I am able to save the seeds from those vegetables and fruits that I grow and use those seeds year after year by saving seeds after every harvest, so that every year I have a free garden. And the other big plus with heirloom seeds is that every year those seeds that you harvest become more adapt to your soil and your climate. So what vegetables have you failed at but then had good success with them once you switch to a different variety of that same exact vegetable? Hey, do me a favor and comment down below with your experiences. and to see 10 tips to live off-grid by Rogue Preparedness, which was yesterday's video for this collab series, then click on the video that should be appearing on the screen just about now to see that. And to learn about freeze-dry wholesalers or do-it-yourself solar generators by Southwest Prepper, then click on the video that should be appearing on the screen just about now. Anyways, folks, if you made it this far, hey, thank you very much for watching, and I pray that you have a good night.